What's up, you guys? It's Spicy Carrot, back at it again with this week's UX review. So if you're already familiar with my channel, welcome back. If you're new to the channel, hi. My name's Emma. I'm an automotive and aerospace human-centered designer, and I have a passion for cars, so I love to review them from the HCD perspective. So this week we're talking about the 2022 Toyota Mirai Limited. But before we get into it, if you're new, make sure you hit that subscribe button. All right, let's get into it. So when I did the written review for this car, I wrote that the Toyota Mirai Limited, especially the 2022 model, is about as California as it gets. Now, what exactly do I mean by that? Well, if you've been to California, or if you've grown up here like I have, you know that California is known for being innovative, tech-savvy, experimental, innovative, outdoorsy, but also expensive and high maintenance. And I really think all of those elements are embodied in this car. Now, don't be fooled by the name. The Toyota Mirai Limited is actually the highest end model of the two, between the Limited and XLE. It starts off at about 66,000 MSRP with an estimated MPGE of 67 and seats 5. Now, this car comes fully loaded with a ton of features, but a few of them include 19-inch black machine finish aluminum alloy wheels, bird's eye view camera, color heads-up display, digital rear view mirror with HomeLink universal transceiver, along with the Toyota Fuel Cell System drivetrain, or TFCS for short, single speed rear-wheel drive, and 182 horsepower, 300 pound-feet of torque. So I mentioned earlier that I thought this car was pretty innovative. So one reason that I think that is the fact that the fuel cell stack and everything about the way this car is designed internally in terms of the powertrain is very, very similar to what everyone is familiar with, the internal combustion engine, or ICE for short. So the two main ingredients in this process are hydrogen and air. At the core of the Mirai, hydrogen comes in from the fuel tank, mixes with oxygen from the air intake grill, come together in the fuel cell stack. From there, a chemical reaction inside that stack with the oxygen and the hydrogen come together to create electricity. And the only byproduct at the end of the day is water. Now you might be asking, where do I get hydrogen and how do I fill up this car? Well, getting hydrogen is a little more complicated, but the act of filling it up is the exact same as if you were at the regular gas station pump. So essentially, the filling up process and the internal powertrain process are very, very similar to the styling that we all grew up with and are very familiar with, internal combustion. This makes this new technology a lot more user-friendly for everybody in the group, from innovative and excited about this technology to apprehensive and unsure. Styling it in a way that is comfortable and familiar to what the user base already knows is a great way to gain traction. Now, there is one quirk about this car that's very unique. So with an internal combustion car, of course, you have a tailpipe with exhaust coming out. In essence, the Mirai has that as well. However, instead of exhaust, it's actually water, and it only comes out at the end of your drive. So water will collect as the drive is happening. Once you have parked, the water all spills out at the end. So basically this car pees when you park it. But you know, since this car is only available in California, maybe we can collect that water and use it to help with the drought. Taking a look at the exterior design, the Mirai has strong nods to both the Prius and the Lexus ES. These both track, as the Prius was the Mirai's initial predecessor both in design and as Toyota's initial innovator of the house, while the ES embodies that sense of technical luxury with that elongated wheelbase that really glides to make an entrance. Moving on to the interior, of course you see the JBL infotainment kit, along with ambient lighting, plush seating, and a very elongated, enlarged sense in the back seat that has a very executive feel. So let's take a look at some of the tech on the inside. So first up, we've got Toyota Teammate. Say hello to your new partner on the road. Toyota Teammate is a new suite of driver assistance technologies featuring Advanced Drive and Advanced Park. Standard on the Mirai Limited, Advanced Park makes parking as simple as pressing a button. Available on Mirai Limited, Advanced Drive is designed to partner with the driver to promote safe and convenient driving on mapped and limited access. Next, we've got the 12.3-inch touchscreen display. So this is part of that JBL kit that I was mentioning earlier. It comes fully loaded with dynamic navigation and a dual screen, so you can follow directions while your co-pilot puts on a playlist. The Mirai also has the color heads-up display, standard on the Mirai Limited. With your hands on the steering wheel and your eyes on the road, the heads-up display casts your speed, turn-by-turn directions, and hybrid system indicator right in line with your line of sight. For visual support, we've got the bird's eye view camera with perimeter scan to help you check your surroundings for hazards, and the digital rear view mirror with HomeLink. Connected to a camera on the trunk, the Mirai's available digital rear view mirror with HomeLink casts an obstruction-free view. Now, don't get me wrong, there's lots of tech on the Mirai that is very impressive, mainly the fuel cell technology. However, the infotainment system leaves very little to be desired. The interface kit is not a Toyota custom in-house design, rather a kit made by JBL that is the exact same interface kit you would get on the RAV4, the Corolla, etc. Now, you would think for the price point that a custom interface would become standard, but unfortunately that's not the case here. Now, one area of this interface kit where it's painstakingly obvious that this is not something that was custom made for the Mirai with any sort of custom experience whatsoever is when you go and look for a gas station to fill up. Now, of course, hydrogen is still a relatively new technology and infrastructure, so it can be difficult to find a gas station that even has hydrogen available. The interface kit doesn't show you which gas stations readily have hydrogen. In fact, it doesn't show you which gas stations carry hydrogen at all. Rather, it just shows you one of the 10,000 gas stations. Not very helpful. Now, since this is a UX-oriented review or human-centered design-oriented review, we have to talk about the potential solutions here, right? So the reason the Mirai is only available in California right now is again because the hydrogen infrastructure is so new. California is really the strongest state at this point that hosts even a little bit of a relatively maintainable infrastructure for this. Although I do have to say, the startup imagery is quite nice. So Toyota really had two main calls to action with the Mirai. Number one, create a car that is both innovative and eco-friendly. Number two, create a car that is still accessible and user-friendly to majority of the population. Now, when it comes to the individual driving experience of filling up your car with hydrogen, driving it, Toyota did a great job of creating a system that's already very familiar. But on the macro scale, because hydrogen is still such an unstable infrastructure, that's where Toyota, I think, has an opportunity to grow. The intimidating part of this process is when drivers feel helpless that they no longer have access to hydrogen to fill up their car and no really any sense of reliability as to when the hydrogen will be coming in. They're really dependent on this infrastructure that is so delicate and so volatile, but they don't really have any information beyond that. Now, of course, as the computer person, my suggestion is going to be make an app for this, but really, I think that's the best case scenario here. If Toyota had an app such as Mirai Connect or something like that, where all drivers can connect with each other in a communal way, but then also connect with a liaison in Toyota to be able to keep touch with and say, hey, we're out of hydrogen, when are we getting some more? And just have someone that they can have as a touch point to be able to rely on when they're in these situations so that they're not left in the dark. That would be great. I personally think that it could really be something. We just need a lot more communication to get us there. This technology is radical. However, I would still like to see that same eccentricity carry over into the end user's domain. I'd love to see it as even more of a deviation from the standard gas-powered lineup Toyota traditionally offers. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you already like what you see but you haven't hit subscribe, make sure that you do. Now, if you want to see the even more technical deep dive written article that I've done on this car, I'll make sure to put the link for that in the bio. And if you'd like for me to review your car, I'll also put the form for that in my bio as well. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time. Bye.